Hello everyone, welcome to the first session of the chapter Imperfect Competitive Market. So we are in the last chapter of microeconomics and we are discussing about the types of market structure. So here we are discussing about the imperfectly competitive market. So here all these market types are price makers. And the first one what we are going to discuss is monopoly market. So there are different types of imperfectly competitive markets and we are classifying this market structure on the degree of competition, on the basis of what? Degree of competition. How they are competitive with each other, on this basis we are discussing the types of market structure. So three main types of imperfectly competitive market we will discuss. That is, first one is monopoly, second one is monopolistic competition and the third one is oligopoly. We also can just note about the type of market structure which is duopoly. So the very first what we will discuss is the monopoly market. So what is monopoly market? So monopoly, the word monopoly can be broken into two, that is mono and poly. So what is the meaning of the word monopoly? Mono means single and poly means seller. So when we combine this meaning, that is single seller, it refers to a market structure where a single seller or a firm will be controlling the supply of a commodity. So here what you can see, there is a single firm or there is a single seller as a producer who will be controlling the entire supply of one commodity. So he has no close substitute and he has no competition in the market. So he is a single seller. So there will be large number of buyers for his products, but the seller is one. So that is why we call him as a single seller who has no close, whose commodity has no close substitutes. Now let us discuss about the features of monopoly market. So there are about 8 features of monopoly market, the characteristics of this market. So what is the first one? That is, as we already discussed the meaning, that is single seller. That means here mono means single. So there is single seller. This kind of market structure is where you find one firm or one producer who is actually having control of the supply of one commodity which has no close substitute. That is what the second feature says, no close substitutes. So the commodity what this monopoly market is selling has no close substitute. Usually we see there are close substitutes for the commodities what are sold, but for the commodities what is sold in a monopoly market has no close substitute. So he is the single controller of the market for the commodity what he is selling. Then high barriers of entry. Because he has absolute control over the market, there is a barrier being put in the entry of market for any new firms or new producer entering the firm and trying to actually produce the commodity what this monopoly market is trying to produce. So there is high barrier of entry. So the concept of exiting, which may not arise at all because he actually controls, this firm actually controls the entire market. There is no possibility of exit because the controller of the market is this monopoly market, as there is no close substitute. In the same way, there is no entry of any other firms also. There is high barriers for the entry of new firms. Next comes the price maker. So in imperfectly competitive market, all the types of market structure, these market structures, all are price makers. So who are price makers here? Price makers are the types of markets who determine the price for their commodities. There are two types, price makers and price takers. Price takers are types of markets who are accepting the price what are existing in the market. They don't play any role in determining the price of the commodity. They simply accept the price which is existing in the market. Whereas here price makers are the types of market who determine the price of the commodity, who fix the price, who determine the price. So they are price makers. Perfect knowledge about the market. So this is how they thrive in the market. They know when to increase the price, when to decrease the price and how to attract the customer. So they have perfect knowledge about the market structure. And next is the nature of the demand curve. So in monopoly, what will be the nature of the demand curve? The nature of the demand curve is downward sloping. So you can see here the demand curve is sloping downwards from left to right, which or average revenue curve. It is sloping downward, and we'll discuss about this point little while. So here nature of the demand curve is downward sloping. Next comes price discrimination or uniform price. So this is one unique feature of the monopoly market. So here either there is price discrimination, that means here the monopoly market can sell that single commodity, that particular commodity at different prices for different people or at uniform price for the all buyers here. So how is it? I will give you example. So here electricity, if you take, it is monopoly. Okay, so the selling of electricity. So what happens here? Price discrimination. You can see for the people who are below poverty line, who are in the middle group, and who are, that is in the you can take in the average revenue group, and the one who are falling in the rich class. So if you see for the below poverty, there is a subsidy being put, and then the per unit charge of electricity will be very less. But when it comes to the average income group, here there is a little, you can see the slab is a little higher, and as we go to the rich class, then again the taxes will be more. So what happens here? The selling of the commodity will be like, the price will be discriminated for different groups, or it could be either sold at the same price for all the groups. So it is entirely dependent on the monopoly firm as to how to fix the price, because he is the ultimate seller. There is no substitute for it. Next comes no difference between firm and industry. So I have told you here, there is no close substitute. It's single seller and there are large number of buyers. So when you say there is single seller, that means one firm existing in the market. This firm also becomes an industry, and industry is nothing but a firm. So you can hardly see the difference between a firm and an industry, because it is single existing market here. It also becomes an industry. Industry is nothing but group of firms. So you don't see group of firms here, it's only one firm existing. So industry is nothing but a firm. Firm is also called as an industry. So this is all about the features of the monopoly market. Now in the features here, I was talking about the nature of the demand curve, which I told you we will be discussing in brief. Now here I have put the picture of the demand curve, the shape of the demand curve or the slope of the demand curve. So what is the market demand curve of the monopoly market? The market demand curve is nothing but the average revenue curve of the monopoly market. So how is it? Now if you see, I have put a diagram here where I show the slope of the demand curve, and you can see that the demand curve is sloping downwards from left to right. So this is a monopolist demand curve. If you see here, I have noted that demand curve is nothing but the average revenue curve or the price line, because here he is the one who determines the price of the commodity, which has no close substitute. So what happens? The price is nothing but the average revenue or the per commodity revenue that is derived, which is nothing but the demand curve. And why is it sloping downwards from left to right? Why does the demand curve slope downwards? The demand curve slope downwards because of price effect, income effect, substitution effect, and the law of diminishing utility we have already learned. So here the slope of the demand curve, that is the negative slope, is because of the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. So here the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. So there is a slope, downward slope of price and quantity demanded here, inverse relationship taking place. That means to say, even being a monopolist, he can make more profit or he can sell more only if he reduces the price of the commodity. Being the ultimate seller, being the only seller in the market, he cannot simply irrationally increase the price of the commodity and sell the commodities. I can state you an example. Say selling electricity is monopoly. Okay, so there is no close substitute. So he is selling electricity by fixing a very high price per unit of electricity. So what we can do as consumers, see, we cannot survive without using electricity. But But if the prices are very high, we can reduce the consumption of electricity. So what do we do when the prices of electricity per unit is very high? We try to reduce the consumption of electricity. So automatically what happens? The demand falls with the increasing price. So being a monopolist also, being the ultimate seller, being the only seller in the market, he can maximize his supply, or he can sell more, or the demand of his commodity can only be more when the prices are less, and when the prices are more, the demand will contract. So with this diagram I can tell you, say OP is the price for OQ quantity of the commodity what is sold by the monopolist. So for OQ amount of quantity sold in the market, he charges OP amount of price. Suppose he increases the price from OP to P1, from P to P1, what happens to the demand here? The demand contracts from OQ to Q1. Okay, so this is how the consumer behaves in the market. When the prices increase, the demand contracts. Similarly, here what happens? If the monopolist wants to increase the supply, he will have to reduce the price of the commodity, that is, say from P to P2, P to P2, then the demand will expand from OQ to Q2. So here, being a monopolist also, the demand will expand when the prices contract. So that is why you can see the slope of the demand curve in the monopoly market, or the market demand curve is sloping downwards from left to right, and the average revenue curve also takes the shape of the demand curve. So demand curve is nothing but the average revenue curve, or nothing but the price line. The price of the commodity is nothing but the average revenue per unit revenue what you derive from the sale of one commodity, and it is nothing but the demand curve, that is how much a consumer is demanding the commodity in the market. Now let us discuss about the total revenue, average revenue and the marginal revenue curves under monopoly. So we have already come across these three concepts, the total revenue concept, the marginal revenue concept and the average revenue concept. So under monopoly, we have to know now what is the shapes of the average revenue curve, the marginal revenue curve or the total revenue curve. Now the average revenue curve we have already discussed, that is it takes the shape of the demand curve or the price line which is sloping downwards from left to right. Now we have to know what is the shape of the total revenue curve and the marginal revenue curve. The first one is the total revenue. So what is total revenue? Total revenue is nothing but the revenue received by the firm for the sale of the commodity. So whatever commodities are being sold in the market, so what is the revenue that is derived by the firm? We call it as total revenue. So how do you express total revenue? TR equals P into Q. So what is P? Price into quantity. So what is the price that is quoted for the commodity into what is the total quantity that is sold in the market? So if you multiply these two, you will be receiving the total revenue. So what is the shape of the total revenue curve? So if you can see here, so as more and more commodities are sold, so the total revenue goes on increasing and it takes the shape of the, you can see here, the inverted parabola. So this is how the shape of the revenue curve will be there. So at one point of time, so more and more quantities are sold, so the revenue goes on, it goes on increasing, and at one point, as I said, the monopolist can make more profit only if he sells the commodity at less price. So at one point of time, if the prices increase more, then maybe there is a possibility that the customers start buying less and less, where the revenue starts to fall. So this is how the shape is derived for the total revenue curve. So it takes a shape. So it could be derived, so in the question paper they could be asking for 1 mark. So the shape of the total revenue curve under monopolist firm is dash. So it is nothing but the inverted parabola. So this you need to remember, it derives, it fetches you 1 mark. Then let us come to the average revenue curve. What is meant by average revenue under monopoly? So average revenue, the concept, the meaning is nothing but the same for all. It is the revenue that is received by the monopolist firm for per unit commodity that is sold. For every unit of commodity sold in the market, what is the revenue that is being derived? We call it as the average revenue. So how do you derive the average revenue? Average revenue can be derived when total revenue is being divided by the quantities of commodity that is sold in the market. So how do you derive it? How do you represent? AR equals TR by Q. So here what is TR? TR is nothing but P into Q. So you can put it as PQ by quantity, and finally what you derive here, it is nothing but AR is nothing but P, because I hope you remember just a few minutes back I was just showing you the shape of the price line. So price line and average revenue curve and demand curve is nothing but the same, sloping downwards from left to right. So what will be the shape of the price line? It is nothing but downward sloping. It is nothing but the demand curve, market demand curve of the monopoly firm. So average revenue curve slope, how will it be? Sloping downwards from left to right. So average revenue is nothing but the price line. So you can also express it this way as TR by Q, or you can also express it as P into Q by Q. It is nothing but P. Okay. Now coming to the last one, that is marginal revenue. So what is marginal revenue? Addition made to the total revenue is nothing but the marginal revenue. Or you can say change that is taking place in total revenue due to the sale of an additional unit sold. So when an additional unit is added to the total commodity, what revenue you derive is called as marginal revenue. So how would you represent it? Marginal revenue is nothing but change in total revenue due to change in quantity. Delta TR by delta Q. So change that is taking place in total revenue, that is an addition that is made to the total revenue due to the sale of an additional unit of a commodity is called as marginal revenue. So you can also express it as marginal revenue for N is TR of N minus TR of N minus 1. Okay, so this is the usual, the standard formula, the expression what we have been representing for all the types of revenues what we discussed from production, or maybe in cost, or maybe in the previous chapter. So the expression remains the same. But what is the shape that is derived in each of the type of market structure, we need to remember. So in the you can see here the total revenue curve takes the shape of an inverted parabola. Here the average revenue curve takes the shape of the price line or demand curve that is sloping downwards from left to right. And if you see here, the marginal revenue curve is also sloping downwards from left to right. So you can see here the shape of the marginal revenue curve in the monopolist market is also sloping downwards from left to right. But here the average revenue curve will be above the marginal revenue curve. So you will know that when we discuss the difference between the average revenue and the marginal revenue curve. Now let us discuss the relationship between AR and the MR curve. So in monopoly, what is the relationship between the average revenue and the marginal revenue curves? For that I have displayed two diagrams here. One, you can see that the slope is, one is narrow and one is wider. That is, if you see very closely, if you observe, the average revenue curve in the next diagram touches the x-axis, and even the marginal revenue curve, you see the vertical distance of one is less and the other one is large. So here with this diagrams I am going to tell you the relationship between the average revenue and the marginal revenue curves, which you could be expecting for say 2 or 4 mark as questions in the board papers. So here in the average and marginal revenue, both will decrease as the sale of the product increases. So as the monopolist starts increasing the sale of the commodity, both the average revenue and the marginal revenue will start decreasing. The per unit cost of production, per unit revenue of the commodity, and then the addition made to the total revenue. Because what happens, the supply increases, the cost of production will increase, slowly the revenue starts to fall. So this is what means by saying the AR and MR decreases as the sale will increase, the product sale increases. Here you have to understand here, the firm will go on supplying the commodities after some point of time. At one point the average revenue and the marginal revenue is more, and after some point of time, to maximize sales, to increase sales, more and more inputs will be utilized, they are employed, and more costs will be incurred. As the on increasing, the revenue that is derived, the addition made to the total revenue or the average unit, the per unit revenue that is derived by the commodity will go on diminishing. Next comes the average revenue curve, which is always lying above the marginal revenue curve. To say that marginal revenue is lesser than the average, addition made to the total revenue will always be lesser than the average revenue. What is average revenue actually? It is nothing but the price of the commodity. So price of the commodity should always be greater than the addition made to the total revenue, or the successive, the addition that is made to the existing total revenue. So that is what this point means. Then, if the slope of average revenue curve is less, the vertical distance between AR and MR curve will also be less. So, if the slope of the AR curve is less, now if you see, if the slope of these two curves are less, the vertical distance between the two, you can see here the vertical distance between the two, that is average revenue and the marginal revenue curve will be less. And the next, that is the last difference between the AR and MR. If AR curve is extended to the x-axis, that is, if AR curve, initially you can see here in this diagram, I have not extended the AR revenue curve to the x-axis, whereas here I have extended the AR revenue curve to the x-axis. So what happens here? MR curve will intersect at x-axis where OQ is equal to QQ1. That means OQ will be exactly equal to QQ1. So here what it says, if AR curve is extended to x-axis, MR curve which will intersect at x, at point OQ, which will be half of OQ1. So OQ is exactly the half of OQ1, or in other words you can say OQ is equal to QQ1. So this is how you can differentiate the difference between, or the relationship between AR and MR curve. So here both AR and MR curve, what similarity you see here is both are downward sloping. They slope downwards from left to right, and always the AR revenue curve, that is average revenue curve, will be above the marginal revenue curve, because AR is nothing but the price line in monopoly, and greater the difference between the distance you see in AR and MR, the vertical distance between the two will be more. The lesser the distance, the lesser will be the vertical distance. And the point at where the AR merges here, it comes and stops here at x-axis, and the MR touches at x-axis, the distance between OQ1 will be equally half. OQ will be QQ1. So with this, I will be concluding this session, that is where we discuss about the first type of imperfect competitive market, that is monopoly. We learned about the meaning of monopoly market, we learned about the features of monopoly market, and we learned about the market demand curve of monopoly firm. Market demand curve is nothing but the average revenue curve and the price line. And we learned about the total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue, the meaning and the shapes of the three types of curves here in monopoly, and the relationship between average and the marginal revenue curve. Thank you.